Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Adventure Comics 137, The Treasure of Tondimo. Probably mispronouncing that, but it is just kind of like a made up word. Actually, I didn't look up if they stole it from something, but it's The Treasure of Tondimo. I feel like someone has recently seen The Treasure of Sierra Madre, though it's not a adaptation or ripoff of The Treasure of Sierra Madre. I wish that would have been so much more interesting with Superboy around. How does he fix an advanced form of paranoia that gets everyone killed and no one the treasure? Yeah, spoilers for The Treasure of Sierra Madre. No, this is actually more like the first Superboy story in More Fun Comics, except longer, more convoluted, and less good. Less is more, and I think Superboy proved that very early on. Is it exactly like that story? No, there was actually no treasure in that story. But the idea being Clark out with his friends being attacked by two crooks. Very simple. Shouldn't take that much time or effort to tell, but it does. So here, Clark is out with his friends, and they inadvertently stumble on a treasure map, a pretty poorly drawn treasure map. I'm not sure how anyone's going to find any treasure with that bare of instructions on it. At the same time, two crooks escape from prison after communicating with the guy who drew it looking for his treasure. The treasure, by the way, is just our dollar plates he stole from the United States government so you could forge your own money, which is a lot of other issues with that than just having the plates. If you ever watched or read the first Reacher book, it's actually a big deal about how the paper is made for money. It has a specific type of blend and not easily replicated. But these plates are buried somewhere, and Clark and his friends, not knowing what the treasure are looking for that when they come in contact with the crooks and are held at gunpoint. So, kind of similar. They were playing pirates in that More Fun Comics when the crooks showed up, so there wasn't really a treasure involved. A lot of the conflict, at least for most of the story, is Clark trying to save his friends from stupid mistakes, nearly getting them killed in the middle of the forest. Once again, we have this problem in the Superman stories where I don't feel like they thought about the concept and what challenges Superboy would have to help them. Instead, they kind of came up with set pieces, maybe even before the concept. Those two things should come hand in hand, and what ends up happening with those set pieces, those heroic moments, they just feel like filler or unnecessary. We're going through the motions of the story, but are completely unnecessary, and you can kind of take them out without losing anything. That's the problem. They should sort of build upon each other. His heroic should be very instrumental to what's going on in the story, like it had been a danger from the get go. Like I said, I've been watching the Fleischer cartoons, and they're very good at doing that. Hand in hand. Like they came up with the concept and then went, oh, what kind of dangers can we do to make what Superman's trying to accomplish harder? Instead of like, well, we need to find something for him to do in the story. One of the more interesting things he does is shoot a rock into space so it acts like a meteor to hit the treasure so they can find it, because he doesn't want to admit he's figured out the map. Because if he shows that he's smart, they'll figure out Clark is Superboy. I don't know about that thinking. And also, is he smart? Because later on in the story, the solution after the crooks put a gun to a kid's head is Superboy promises that he won't just take them to prison. So instead, he tunnels them away to escape, except he tunnels them right to prison. I don't think that's a loophole. I think that's just directly taking them to prison. It's not a clever solution. So maybe he's not as smart as the story wants us to think he is. And they hand back over the plates if you were worried that there was no solution to the story. There is a solution to the story. The kids can't do anything with the forgery plates. It would be impressive if they could. Superboy and his friends become forgers. Man, that would be an interesting story. He would never put up with that. Though there's some actually interesting conflict versus what was happening here. Once again, I don't think the 10 pages are helping the story. I think we need to cut it back down to 7 and see what they can work with. Maybe just slightly up it to 8 or 9 at times just to see if they can work. With the more page count, they seem to be more worried about adding moments for him to do heroics without really thinking about why he needs to perform heroics in the story. We need to get back to that system or thinking about that. And to be fair, it's never thought that way. No Superman comic or Superboy comic has really succeeded in that to, I guess, my satisfaction. But it can be done. The Fleischer cartoons had figured it out. Okay, that is it from Adventure Comics 137, The Treasure of or Tondimo. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Friday is a Bat Friday. We cover Batman story, either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, what did happen to the boy of tomorrow? And seriously, if we had thought about this story as them being chased by the crooks from the get-go, we could have Superboy doing something that is moving the story forward. That's just a simple one. That's not the solution, but I think that would have helped things tremendously. Okay, have a great day.